morning, people. I don't even know what day it is. I think it's Friday today. Don't really know the date. Kind of lose track of days and whatnot when I'm out here. But I think it's Friday. I just know it's early August. And I'm back in a familiar place. I'm back in a familiar place. I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see it. You can see this familiar area. If you've watched some of my videos in the past or whatever, this is the area just down this little draw, right down this little draw here is the area that I heard that that's the area that I heard that crazy knocking, the tree knocking, and and there was something making a strange sound. I'm not going to say what it was or what it wasn't, but it was strange. I'll leave that up to your imaginations. Anyways, back in that same area, and just trying to take advantage of the somewhat cooler weather. Trying to take advantage of the somewhat cooler weather and get out for a little stroll. Stretch the legs. Which, as you all know, I like to do. And I got my day pack with me. You guys know I never leave without my day pack. And I actually brought the Defender this time as well, because there's been a lot of wolves. There's been a lot of wolves sighted in the last few weeks up here, which is kind of rare. We know there's wolves up here, but you don't often see them. And for some reason lately, there's been quite a few seen. And there's one that somebody got a picture of that's pretty mangy looking, really skinny and pretty ugly looking. So wolves, when they're like that, they can be really dangerous because they're starving to death, likely, maybe being kicked out of the pack, and they're just after food, right? So that's why I got the Defender today. And just want to be a little more careful than normal. I probably should carry the damn thing with me all the time, but I don't. So anyways, we're getting down close to the river here now. This is a beautiful river. I fish this river quite a bit. Not fishing today. I've been doing a lot of fishing lately, so today is a non-fishing day. I'm just up here relaxing. Go for a hike. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Friggin' gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at the rock formations here, eh? And the water, river raging over. Pretty cool. I hope you guys don't get sick and tired of me showing you waterfalls, but I love them. Something about rivers and waterfalls. This is Black Bear Central in here, as well as the wolves. A lot of bears in here, so another good reason to carry the Defender. Look at the mushrooms. Look at all the mushrooms, holy cow. I'm not a mushroom eater, but my wife loves them. Mrs. Outlaw loves them. And I got a buddy of mine. That's a huge mushroom guy. Loves them. Loves picking them. Chanterelles. I wouldn't know a chanterelle mushroom if the thing jumped up and bit my damn nose off. So I just don't like mushrooms. Never have, never will. I mean, I'm sure in a life or death survival situation, yeah, of course I'd eat them. But they're not my number one choice. See all the berries in here? That's why there's so many bears in here too. This is a bear trail I'm on. They come onto this river when the fish spawn. So there's coho salmon. Coho salmon run up this river. And when they run up this river, the bears are in here eating the hell out of them. There's a nice little pool there nice little pool down there that I have fished many a times. Beautiful spot. Saw a cougar once on this trail too, so I've only ever seen one cougar in here, but it's good cougar country. But it's one of my favorite spots to go to. This is the river that leads to my lake, my favorite lake, to Sasquatch Lake, Bigfoot Lake. We're not going up there today because it's too hot. Well, it's not hot right now. I just got my light rain jacket on and a t-shirt underneath, but I can already feel that it's warm. Beautiful. I'll show you guys this. Look at this. Look at that body of water. That's another pool that I fish quite often. Anyways, we can get down to there. It's a bit of a trek, but we can make her. So I have had a ton of people message me and email me with remedies, with sleep remedies. But I think it might have been my last video that I said to you guys I don't sleep with a dam. And of course, this awesome outlaw country community, people getting back to me saying, hey, try this, hey, try that. And like tons, which is great. And I will definitely look further into these things that you guys recommended. There's quite a few different varieties of mostly natural sleep solutions, and I'll look into them because I wouldn't mind getting some sleep one day. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Yeah, so I steelhead fishing here. The water's really low. The water level right now is probably down 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet. Super low. Yeah, more people sharing more experiences, and I think I'll get one email read out today. Hang on, there we go. Technical difficulty. Gun was caught up on me. I think I will try to get one email read out today. But I've had I probably got a dozen emails sitting in my inbox, and again, I certainly am not trying to take away from my buddy Steve and what he's doing on his channel. And I mean, yeah, I'm reading emails that people have sent in just like he does and has done for a long time. But I don't know, it is what it is, right? People, I'm looking for bear tracks here, sorry. People send in their experiences, and I agree with Steve, it doesn't really make a damn bit of difference. Doesn't really make a damn bit of difference where they get shared, as long as they get shared. And I agree with Steve on that one. So if there's somebody else that you can share with and you're more comfortable sharing with than me, by all means, go for it. But anybody that shares with me, I feel obligated to read their emails, because I've always said I will. So I gotta show you the shit I'm going through here. Holy. Now I just pray to God. I don't mind seeing the mud here. I don't mind seeing bear tracks or wolf tracks or cougar tracks. I just don't want to see a human-like footprint in the mud. That is what I don't want to see. God, this is thick. But how's that for a green screen? Okay. How is that for a green screen? Phenomenal. So anyways, some of these emails that I've received are, like I say, pretty wild. Pretty crazy stories. So Martin's was awesome. I'm gonna sit my ass down here for a few minutes. Where should I sit? How about I sit right here? So Darren, I want to tell you how much I enjoy your channel. The places you go and the scenery you capture are beautiful. I'll tell you briefly about me before I get into my experiences with the Sasquatch people. I'm 76 years old now, and I live just outside of Haines, Alaska. I don't know exactly where Haines is. I've been to Alaska, but I don't know exactly where Haines is. I think it's one of the more major cities, but anyways, maybe somebody can tell me that. I live just outside of Haines, Alaska. I was a bush pilot in Alaska for 37 years and an avid outdoorsman up until a couple of years ago. My old body just can't do what my mind wants it to do. Anyways, enough about me. On to what I've experienced and what I've learned about these people over the years. My first encounter with them was on a hunting trip for caribou in 1976. I was my good friend Pat. I was with my good friend Pat on a 10-day hunt, and we were together on top of a mountain overlooking a big tundra plateau. I had seen caribou there the week before our trip as I was flying over, so I knew they would be around. We'd been sitting there for a few hours when Pat finally spotted the first group of caribou. And as we were watching them move towards us, I heard a really odd noise, kind of all around us. It sounded much like an airplane engine way off in the distance, but it was a lot deeper hum, and it wasn't that far away. Pat and I were both asking if each other heard the sound as we started looking around for the source, but we couldn't pinpoint its location. It was definitely up the mountain above us, but we couldn't determine exactly where. This damn noise carried on for maybe a minute or two, and we were looking around when all of a sudden it stopped. And then we heard one hoot sound, kind of like an owl, but deep and loud. I looked into the direction of that hoot and saw this being standing in front of a couple of large boulders. At first, it looked like a large grizzly on its hind legs, but I knew it wasn't. Pat was only a few feet away from me, and I whispered, "Pat, do you see that?" But he didn't respond. When I looked over to Pat, he was staring right at this thing and had his hand on his rifle, which was laying on the ground beside him. I looked back at this creature that was probably only 400 to 500 yards from us, and as quickly as this thing had appeared, it took one step to the side and disappeared behind these large boulders. A split second later, this thing came out from behind the boulder, and there were two of them. They looked right at us and then took off running across the side of this mountain towards the valley to our left. When I say they were moving, they were moving. I would guess these creatures to be doing 30 to 40 miles an hour across the steep, rough mountain. 30 to 40 miles an hour. They looked to be moving faster than a charging grizzly bear. I was just going to say that. It was absolutely incredible. And they kept that speed up until they hit the timber, which was 800 to 1,000 yards to our left. That's a kilometer, or whatever, three quarters of a mile. These things were extremely big. The first one was all of 8 feet tall for sure. The other one wasn't much smaller, but it didn't carry the same mass as the lead one. It didn't look quite as big and heavy. This all happened so fast that it was almost unbelievable. I damn near pissed my pants when I first saw this creature standing there looking at us, and Patrick was the same, maybe worse. We both sat there staring in the direction they ran for a long time. Then Pat looked at me and was white as a ghost, and I could see his hands shaking. All we could say to each other was, "What the hell? Can you believe that?" I can't even begin to explain to anyone the speed that these things were moving at and for how long. This is rough country, probably a 30-degree slope that we were sitting on, maybe steeper where they were. It was completely beyond belief. After sitting there and finally talking to each other, Pat and I decided to head back to our camp. When we got back to camp, he started packing up his gear, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm not spending the night here." I convinced Pat that we had to stay the night, otherwise we'd be hiking throughout the night in the dark, and that was not a good idea. We both stayed up all night talking by a big fire. Never slept a wink. I guess not. Pat was a native man, and when we got home, we talked to his father about what we had seen. His father said he had never seen one personally. Well, many of the elders in the community have over the years. It was many years later that my wife Mary and I had another encounter with these people. It was late August, and we had flown into a lake to get camp set for moose hunting. We were down at the lake fishing in the afternoon, and we started to smell a real foul odor, like a grizzly or wolf, wet dog type of a smell. I've smelled that smell many times. Mary said, "What is that smell?" And I said, "I think it's a bear. We better make our way back to camp." As we were walking down the shore, towards camp, we caught a glimpse of one of these creatures just in the timber up off the lake shore. And the smell at that moment was unbearable. It burnt our nostrils. This thing made a loud huffing sound and took off away from us, instantly gone from our sight. What was very strange this time is we never heard footsteps, branches breaking, or anything. It was absolutely silent as it disappeared. It literally took off, and within a second or two was gone. Mary said to me, "Was that one of those Sasquatch people?" I said, "Yes, it was." She knew of them from our encounter caribou hunting, but this was the first time that she had any kind of an experience with them. I've got much more that I could share with you if you would like to hear about it, Darren. I thought I'd share this as you seem like the man that would actually appreciate it. Feel free to email me back anytime, and thanks for sharing your great adventures with me. Glenn. I absolutely appreciate hearing from you, Glenn. That's unbelievable. What I kind of find fascinating is, so many people that I've talked to, and you guys have all probably heard it through Steve as well, on Steve's channel, People's Experiences and whatnot, is they always say it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. You can't believe it. And when I was talking with Martin, Martin said the exact same thing several times. He was like, it was unbelievable. And, you hear Glenn say, the speed that this thing moved was unbelievable. And maybe that's why a lot of people struggle with believing that these beings, that these people exist, is because it's unbelievable. Maybe that's why. Some people just can't accept it. I think there's probably people out there that want to accept it or whatever. They just can't. Their mind just automatically goes to, I need proof, and I need this, and I need that. And it is so unbelievable. So many of us have grown up and been taught in school. You're taught things. You're taught about myths and mythical creatures and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, the topic of Bigfoot, Sasquatch was always, in my world anyways, was always just like a myth. There was stories and there was this and that, and it was almost perceived as a mythical creature. And I think it probably is. I think they probably still are today, if not maybe even more so. But anyways, thank you very much, Glenn. I did email Glenn and ask him if it's okay if I share, because he didn't say that in his email, and he did say by all means share. And he said he's also going to share more with me because he's got more to tell. And I said, bring it on. Bring it on. I want to hear it. People like that, and I'm not discrediting or knocking anybody else that has had any kind of an experience. I don't care if you're an office worker and you love hiking and you're out hiking and you run across one of these people. That's incredible, and I want to hear that. But to hear people like Martin and Glenn, and I'm going to ask Glenn if his friend Pat is still with us, but because I'd like to talk to him too. But people like that, Martin out trapping for 40 years or whatever, in the wilderness, remote wilderness by himself, like pretty cool to hear from people like that. And then Glenn, a bush pilot, like, man, a bush pilot, nobody sees more of the country than a bush pilot does, right? They're out there, maybe not every day, but they're out there a ton flying over this country and whatnot, and the shit they must see, holy cow. Unbelievable, right? So, anyways, thanks again, Glenn. When I emailed Glenn back asking to share, I asked him I said, if you would like to share your number with me, here's my number. I'd love to hear from you, because I'd love to sit and have a conversation with you. So, I love talking to people, and you know what? I love talking to elderly people, older people. I just think they have so much wisdom and so much to share, and they're so friggin' honest. They're honest. And I think more of us could learn more if we listen to our elders. So, anyway, pretty cool email. And I'm not going to read any more because, I don't know, we've probably been sitting here half an hour. My ass is getting sore. My back is getting sore. And I can't look at these fish jumping here anymore. They're tormenting me. I'm very tempted to hike out of here, go get in my side-by-side, ride back to my cabin, get my rod, ride back out here, hike back in here. You see that fish jump right there? Are you kidding me? I'm tempted to go and get my gear. I think think there's some steelhead and some rainbow. Or I think there's some steelhead and some cutthroat in here. What do I do? What do I do, folks? Do I ride back for my gear or don't I? I think I'm gonna go get my gear.